Alright, welcome back to another video by Firestarter Graphics and Engineering. Today we're going to make something kind of cool. It's going to be a respirator style dust mask. Now bear in mind, this video is going to be probably long and boring and dry, and there's going to be a couple of them. It's not an easy task to make this, but I'll try to do it the best I can. And we're going to start by using a reference image to create this shape that I've already drawn. And so where I got the reference image is I took a picture of an already created mask out there, just the bottom of it, and imported into Sketchup and then traced over it. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that now. So I'm going to go to import and I'm going to go to wherever my picture is. Actually, I just took a screenshot. So here's the original. You can see part of the mask, and I traced that and created this. And now I'm going to actually use this as my reference. So it's roughly right about there. And we're good. Okay, so what we want to do is make sure that this is scaled to the right dimensions. So I'm going to explode this, and then I'm going to recreate it as a component, and it's just going to be called picture. Now the reason why I want to do this is because if you scale on the outside of this with the tape measure tool and resize the model, it's going to resize everything, and I don't want to do that. I just want to resize inside the model. So get inside the component, hit T for tape measure, notice the little plus sign at the bottom, we don't want that, so hit Control. And we're going to go to the middle of this line right here that's dark, and then hit left arrow to force it in this direction. And we need to come down to right about the middle. And we're going to click it once and then type in 40 and then M for meters. Hit enter, and then it's going to say resize model or active group or component. You're going to hit yes. Control Shift E, and now that has made it supposedly on scale. So what we need to do is now move this onto that line, and now everything is lined up. See how nice and awesome that is? Okay, so let's see. Now you're probably wondering, why is it 40 meters and not millimeters? That's because in millimeters, when you start modeling, especially with lofts, you get such small faces on some of the geometry that they interact with each other and delete each other, overlap, and it causes issues. So I scale it 1,000 times larger and then scale it down at the end. And that's just a rule of thumb that I've always done. So we're going to be using 3 extensions, all created by the same guy named Fredo. We're going to use joint push pull, Curvy Loft, and his BZ spline. All of them are free for SketchUp Pro. You cannot use these in the web version, and I don't think you can loft natively in the web version. It would be pretty difficult to do this without some sort of extension. So what we're going to want to do is, since we have symmetry working for us, we can just trace half of this, make a copy and rotate it, or you could make the whole thing if you want. It's all depending on what you want to do. So I'm going to show you a few tools. First, I'm going to show you using the spline tool. And actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to show you the arc tool. So hit A for arc, and I always have 48 sides, so type 48, and at the bottom you should see where it says sides. Hit enter. I'm going right here to this point on the line. And if I want to be more accurate, actually, I'm going to hit T for tape measure, and I'm going to force this in the red direction. I'm going to bring this right on the edge. Right here that looks pretty good. Okay, now I'm going to hit A for arc. I'm going to go right where it says intersect, and then, I don't know, I'm going to go maybe, let's just go up to this line right here, click that, and I'm going to match that. Click it one more time, come up to this line, and then when it's blue, that means it's going to be tangent to that last vertex. So we're going to end up cutting off a little bit to keep, but that's too much cut off. So I'm going to Control Z it, go to intersection. I'm going to go a little bit higher to right about here. Nope, a little too high. So as you can tell so far, it's going to be a little tedious because I'm a little bit of an OCD person and I want it to be as smooth as possible. So I'm going to click there, and I don't want to lose too much. So click there. Sometimes it requires 2 clicks. Click once to hold the tangency. Click again to set it. This one looks like a decent spot right there. And it's looking like if we go right to the nose, we should be good. And that should be completely covered. So now I'm going to hide the picture, and you can see our profile. So we could select everything, use Q against the red, click once there, tap Control to make a copy, and then just rotate it, and there we go. Now sometimes the problem that I've run into is trying to get these to actually make a face, and that one actually did it. So you're going to hit delete on that line so that we have a full face. Okay, so I like that one. I'm going to make that base 1 just because. Now I'm going to unhide my picture, and we're going to move the picture down so we can try another technique. Hit T for tape measure. We're going to get our guide back, and this time we're going to use one of the spline tools and compare it. Now notice I used 48 sides for this, so I want to use something similar or higher. The 3 best, I'll just kind of run through them. So we have the classic Bezier curve. So if I click here, click here, click here, click here, click here, you know, it's just kind of doing that. It's kind of hard to make an actual shape with that. The other thing is with this curve, notice at the bottom it says start and end. If I click here, see I can't. Now I click there and I click there. It wasn't doing like it was last time. That's because I hit shift twice. So it puts the control point in the center as default. But some people don't like that, like me. So if I hit it shift twice, notice it's a little triangle. I can go now in sequential order. The ones that have sequential order by default are going to be your Catmull, your pretty much most of these. This one, and this one. Your 2 most famous splines for 3D modeling and CAD drawings are your cubic Bezier and your F-spline. F-spline is a smoother version of this one, so I'm going to use it. And it says 30 segments at the bottom right, but I'm gonna go 48, and then hit S for segments. And that'll be just like what my arc was using. Oh, yeah, I want T. I want to hit T and bring in a control point here so I can get it as accurate as possible. Right there. Go back up to F-spline. You have to reset the segments. Okay. On the intersection. And then you're just going to slowly, you know, I mean, it doesn't need to be slow, but, you know, just Start clicking. And then when you get finished, you just double click. So I'll do this a little bit faster so you can see it's not going to be accurate at all. So it's going to be kind of ugly. Then when you get right here and make sure it says online, double click. Now you'll notice we did pretty good. So, but if you hover over one of these X's, you can actually drag it. Get a different shape. Control Z will undo that. So you can actually move them in closer. I don't think you can add control points. Oh, that turns off the vertexes so you don't get confused. So, but if you accidentally click out of it and click done, and you're like, oh no, my line, it's gone, how do I edit it? Just click it and then re-click edit, and there you go. Just don't do anything like welding or exploding the curve, then all those edit points go away. So now if we actually hid the picture, you can rotate copy just like we did before and make your shape. So those are two ways of doing it. You could use one of these other curves and you'd be good. So I'm going to go ahead and stop there until next time, and then we'll make further improvements upon our mask. So anyways, thank you for watching.